You know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is such a fantastic idea. It's amazing that no one ever thought about doing it before. Or did they? Howdy everybody, and welcome to Harvey Media Reviews. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, love it or hate it, has changed the way movies are made. It used to be that everything in Hollywood was a remake, reboot, or sequel. But now, everything that comes out of Hollywood is a remake, reboot, or sequel that you have to watch 100 other reboots, remakes, and sequels in order to understand what's going on. Truly, cinema has been changed for the better. But snarkiness aside, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is something that, when I was a kid, comic book geeks would freak out if you told them existed. It's surprising that it's taken them this long to bring that to the silver screen. But actually, it didn't take them this long in order to do it, just took them this long to get it right. There have been at least two other attempts by Marvel to really create an expanded universe on film. The first was in the 1970s. The Incredible Hulk was massively successful, and Marvel tried several times, and failed, I might add, to duplicate success. The Red Brown Captain America movies, the Spider-Man TV series with Nicholas Hammond, the Doctor Strange TV movie, and a host of other disappointing flops. Eventually, the Incredible Hulk series was cancelled, and that seemed to be the end of Marvel's hopes of bringing any more of their properties to the big screen. But in the 1980s, there suddenly was this big craze about bringing old TV shows back for reunion movies. The Andy Griffith Show, The Brady Bunch, everybody had a reunion movie. The Incredible Hulk had only been canceled for a couple of years by that point, but they still jumped on the bandwagon and got their own reunion movie. The Incredible Hulk Returns, which was a television movie, which was also used as a backdoor pilot for a series about everyone's favorite Asgardian, the Mighty Thor. This movie, for all you Thor fans out there, is awful. Don't watch it, it sucks. The Thor in this movie barely resembles the Mighty Thor from the comics whatsoever, which shouldn't be surprised if you know anything about the Red Brown Captain America movies. But it was successful enough that they were able to make another movie, Trial of the Incredible Hulk, where the Incredible Hulk meets up with Daredevil. In fact, the movie is almost more of a Daredevil movie than an Incredible Hulk movie, to the point where the Incredible Hulk actually has no stake in the final conflict of the film. It's all just Daredevil facing off against Wilson Fisk. Of the two films, if you want to watch them at all, I would recommend Trial of the Incredible Hulk over Return of the Incredible Hulk, since Trial is just a little bit better. But the big thing that we're going to talk about here is that these movies were expanding the universe. Hulk now existed in the same world as Thor. Hulk now existed in the same world as Daredevil, which means that Daredevil and Thor also existed in the same universe. And they had dozens of more plans to do more movies like this, having the Hulk meet up with Nicholas Hammond's Spider-Man, Red Brown's Captain America. Unfortunately, none of these movies came about, probably because they would have been terrible. The closest we ever got was a movie called The Resurrection of the Incredible Hulk, a sequel to another TV movie they made called The Death of the Incredible Hulk, which is also bad. The Resurrection of the Incredible Hulk was going to be directed by Bill Bixby, and was going to be about bringing the She-Hulk to life, and having her be the new main character for an entirely different TV series spun off from the original, the same way in which Bionic Woman was a spin-off of The $6 Million Man, but ended up becoming a hugely successful series in its own right. Unfortunately, these plans were scrapped after Bill Bixby tragically died before production could begin. And so, that was the last time anyone seriously considered putting She-Hulk in a live-action movie. Which is disappointing to say the least. But I said that there were two attempts to create an expanded universe. The other one was in animation. Batman the Animated Series really changed the landscape of Saturday morning television for an entire generation. Bruce Timm, Eric Radomski, Paul Dini, and all the people who were responsible for it really created something special when they created Batman the Animated Series, but they created something else also special, either equally, more so, or less, depending on your opinion, when they went on and created Superman, Static Shock, the Zeta Project, Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited. They created an entire expanded universe. Marvel started pushing out superhero action drama cartoons left and right, trying to compete with what DC was accomplishing, and even put forth plans to start creating an interconnected universe between the series, even before the full scale of the DC animated universe really took hold. Fantastic Four being turned into a strict adaptation of the comic material from the 90s, and Iron Man being turned into a dark introspective look at the neuroses that make up who Iron Man is. These shows both had episodes featuring team-ups with the Incredible Hulk, and those were used as backdoor pilots for an Incredible Hulk animated series. But all three of these shows, it's important to understand, were total continuity porn. Incredible Hulk cartoon was more continuity porny than either Fantastic Four or Iron Man combined, featuring team-ups in almost every episode. Ghost Rider, Thor, everybody was there. And then there was X-Men, the animated series. They featured less continuity because, let's face it, the X-Men has so much going on in its universe that it can basically stand on its own, and has in recent years. But they still managed to fit a couple people in. Little cameos of Spider-Man, War Machine, and a meet-up with the Alpha Flight team, which featured Sasquatch, who was also a character in the Incredible Hulk cartoon. Next came Spider-Man the Animated Series, featuring storylines straight from the comics and team-ups with X-Men, featuring all the same voice actors as the X-Men Animated Series. Iron Man and War Machine, again, all the same voice actors. The biggest problem was when they introduced the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom, who they not only got completely different voice actors from the Fantastic Four Animated Series, but they also made it clear that these were completely different versions than that show. Why? You spent so much time building up the continuity between shows, why would you drop the ball here? Well, it turns out, behind the scenes, the guy who created Spider-Man the Animated Series hated the Fantastic Four show. Which, I mean, fine. Tastes are different between people, but if you spend so much time doing continuity, put your personal biases aside and make this crossover work. On top of that, Daredevil was a major crossover character in the Fantastic Four Animated Series. In the very first episode of Season 2, he shows up, and he's a very distinct and fun personality. And Daredevil showed up in Spider-Man 2 with a completely different personality. In Fantastic Four, he was much more jokey and fun, whereas in Spider-Man, he was a serious, grim and gritty, justice seeker kind of person who was really annoying. And this is unfortunately where things started to unravel. First, the Avengers had been at least mentioned in most of the other shows, and had actually appeared in Fantastic Four a couple of episodes. But when the Avengers cartoon actually happened, for one, it only lasted for one season. And for another thing, it was really, really bad and really, really weird. It seemed to take place in the far future and seemed to have more of a Power Rangers and anime inspiration than anything else. Also, did I mention it was really damn bad? On the better side of things, there was a Silver Surfer animated series, and unfortunately also only lasted for one season. Silver Surfer was a character in the Fantastic Four animated series and was a really cool character and definitely seemed like he had star potential, like he could have his own show. But when he showed up with his own show, the first 3 episodes told his origin story as you would expect them to. But they told it while cutting the Fantastic Four completely out of the story. And finally, the infamous Spider-Man Unlimited, which I have to admit I actually kind of like, which also only lasted one season, and was a Spider-Man series that somehow had continuity conflicts with the other Spider-Man series that they had done. What the hell? You can't even keep continuity straight between 2 series about the same damn character? However, any attempts to fix this problem were completely squashed because of the reason why those last 3 shows only had one season, Marvel's bankruptcy. The best explanation that we have is the fact that the final episodes of Spider-Man the Animated Series involve a lot of multiverse bending and jumping between different dimensions. So maybe some of these shows happen in one dimension, some of these shows happen in another. It would explain why in Fantastic Four, in one episode, we see the Scarlet Spider swing by, and then at the end of Spider-Man the Animated Series, he meets a Scarlet Spider, but Scarlet Spider is a Spider-Man from a different universe, where their Peter Parker went insane. It's complicated. But that's really disappointing. It's like, oh man, it's an expanded universe, but these of your favorite characters are in this universe, and these of your favorite characters are in this universe. So if these of your favorite characters meet these of your favorite characters, won't be these favorite characters, will be different versions of this. Oh man, it's bizarre. What's even more bizarre is that DC were the people who were getting it right at the time, and now the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing everything right, or almost everything right, and the DC Universe is doing what they did, saying, oh, well, we're going to have a Flash series that ties in with an Arrow series that ties in with the Legends of Tomorrow, which kind of sort of ties into Supergirl, but there's an alternate dimensional thing going on there. And then we have Gotham and Krypton, which are prequels to nothing. And then we have Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, and all of the cinematic universe that doesn't tie into anything else. They're all in different dimensions. I just want to watch movies about my favorite characters and have them be my favorite characters. Okay? That one time with the Timverse, this all worked together and was perfectly fine and made perfect sense. Even the Marvel Cinematic Universe is not as good and seamless as the DC animated universe was back in the day. But I digress. I think we're all pretty happy to see the Marvel Cinematic Universe on screen. Even if you don't like a lot of the movies that are being used, it's really cool as a comic book nerd to see this universe finally be brought to life. I'm Harvey Media, and I'll see you all later.
Meet the sulky, over-bulky, kinda hulky superhero. Octopusted and electrically transistored superhero. An exotically neurotic and aquatic superhero. The Marvel superheroes have arrived. Superpowered from the forehead to the toes. Watch them change their very shape before your nose. See arcane striking superhero change to Viking superhero. A humdinging, real swinging, shield flinging superhero. They're the latest, they're the greatest, ultimatest superhero.